It's Tuesday, October 21st. In the headlines, dozens of Jamaicans honored for their service to the country on National Heroes Day. Jamaicans urged to rekindle a spirit of unity and service. In business news, Central Bank acts to halt slide of the dollar. Regionally, Regional Security System Unit heads meet in St. Lucia. And in sports, Jamaica is in a joint bid to host the 2031 FIFA Women's World Cup. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Jamaica's leaders are reminding citizens that the spirit of heroism lives on, not just in history books, but in everyday acts of courage and service. On National Heroes Day, both Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and opposition leader Mark Golding urged Jamaicans to embrace unity, discipline, and compassion as the country faces new challenges. Danita Rodney has more in this report.
Observed every third Monday in October, National Heroes Day is a time to honor the 7 Jamaicans whose struggles helped shape the nation's freedom and identity. But this year, as the country grapples with social and economic pressures, national leaders are calling for a renewed sense of purpose, urging citizens to live the values of the nation's forebears.
Our heritage is not something locked away in the pages of history. It is a living call, a charge to each of us to carry forward the values of discipline, hard work, respect, and love for one another. Our forebears fought so that we could live purposefully, and we must guard our freedom with great vigilance and commitment.
Prime Minister Dr. Holness says those values must guide not only the country's development but its people, especially the younger generation.
But the greatest work lies not in the infrastructure we build, but in our character. It lies in teaching our youth that patriotism is a lifestyle, that to love Jamaica is to serve her with excellence, to protect her from harm, and to lift her name with pride wherever we go.
The Prime Minister also paid tribute to what he calls Jamaica's modern-day heroes, teachers, nurses, farmers, and security personnel who continue to serve with integrity. Meanwhile, opposition leader Mark Golding used his message to echo the call for unity and moral leadership.
Through their courage and sacrifice, they laid the foundation for a Jamaica where our aspirations are for freedom rooted in justice, progress forged in unity, and leadership grounded in service. These are the towering figures of our history, on whose shoulders we stand.
And while he celebrated Jamaica's resilience, the opposition leader acknowledged the pain of rising violence and suicides, urging citizens to choose empathy over anger and unity over division.
In the face of these challenges, let us choose empathy over anger, unity over division, and hope over despair. Let us stand together as one people, united in purpose, bound together in our love for our country, and determined to build a Jamaica where peace, equality, and opportunity become realities for all.
Both leaders' messages shared a common theme, that heroism is not confined to the past, but lives in the everyday acts of compassion, service, and integrity that continue to define the Jamaican spirit. Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I am Danita Rodney.
Government Senator and JMMB Group CEO Keith Duncan, former Jamaica Stock Exchange Managing Director Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, multiple Olympic medalist and 2011 world champion Johan Blake, and Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton were among those who were awarded for their contribution to national development on Monday, October 20, National Heroes Day. Attorney at Law and journalist Emily Shields and her colleague, Dr. Orville Taylor, as well as Johan Blake, were among 35 people who were conferred with the Order of Distinction in the rank of Commander.
First off, give God thanks. It's been a while coming, almost 20 years, of working on and off the track. And I'm good. I'm grateful. I've give God thanks. It's a moment in your life where you get honored by your country, and I'm proud.
Among other notable names were National Epidemiologist Dr. Karen Webster-Carr, Public Health Specialist Dr. Alverston Bailey, Wasinco Chairman William Mafood, Managing Director of Trade Winds, Citrus, Peter McConnell, Director of Elections, Glasswell Brown, and Jamaican-American entrepreneur and philanthropist, Dr. Tricia Bailey. President of the Jamaica Civil Service Association, Tesha Clark Griffith, gospel artist Kevin Downswell, and former national football player Ricardo Bibi Gardner were among those conferred with the Order of Distinction in the rank of officer.
It's a moment I will cherish for the rest of my life, to be recognized in this way by your country. It's something very special, it's something very unique, and it's showing that with hard work and dedication you can go on to achieve the most.
13-year-old Adrian Ellis received the Badge of Honor for gallantry for his heroic action in saving the life of a fellow student who suffered a fall on April 30, 2025. Government Senator Keith Duncan, Government Minister Desmond McKenzie, and former Managing Director of JSC, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, have all been conferred with the Order of Jamaica. In our weather update, a tropical storm watch is now in effect for Jamaica, as there is the potential for a tropical cyclone to form in the Central Caribbean later today. According to the Meteorological Service of Jamaica, this means that tropical storm conditions could pose a possible threat to Jamaica within 48 hours. Environmental conditions are forecast to become more conducive for development, and a tropical storm is expected to form later today while it slows down over the Central Caribbean. When the system is in the vicinity of Jamaica, it is expected to produce locally heavy rainfall, strong gusty winds, possibly reaching tropical storm force, primarily over northeastern and southern parishes late Wednesday and Thursday. For the marine areas, the forecast is for widespread showers and thunderstorms, which may be heavy at times, with strong gusty winds to affect all marine zones on Wednesday and Thursday, especially inshore and offshore the south coast. Fishers on the Keys and Banks are further urged to complete their preparations and be on the alert to evacuate. The Meteorological Service continues to closely monitor the progress of this area of low pressure, and all interests are encouraged to pay special attention to further releases. We're in the peak of the hurricane season. Here's a hurricane tip.
What to do before a hurricane. When preparing for a hurricane, you should create an emergency kit. In this kit, you should include water boots, raincoats, flashlights, batteries, a portable radio, kerosene lamps, candles, matches, and a first aid kit. These things are important for you to have in case you have to go outside, if there is no electricity, or if you get a minor injury.
Genomics is the study of an organism's entire set of genes, called its genome, including how those genes are structured, function, and interact with each other and the environment. In the following report, the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, explains how it can be applied to help us live healthier lives.
The story of our lives can be told through the story of our genes. Genomics helps us tell these stories. It gives us a deeper understanding of ourselves and can shape how we address health challenges worldwide. For example, through genomics, we can identify genetic variants within certain populations that are linked to the risk of heart disease or diabetes, changing how we approach prevention and treatment. For the potential of genomics to be realized, however, it needs to include data from populations all over the world. On top of this, every country needs to have access to it. Something that's now more possible than ever thanks to lower cost innovations. Equitable access to genomics will not only enrich our understanding of ourselves, but ensure that everyone benefits from it. The story of genomics is the story of our lives, and where that story leads is up to us.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, here to bring you the stories shaping the financial world and guiding your journey to smarter business decisions. Let's dive into the top headlines. 4 major listed companies reported a mixed bag of financial results for this financial period. Portland JSX Limited unaudited financials for the 6 months ended August 31, 2025, reports a 6-month net loss of US $2.12 million. Image Plus Consultants Limited unaudited financial statements for the 6 months ended August 31, 2025, reports a 6-month net profit of $23.09 million. Knutsford Express Services Limited unaudited financials for the first quarter ending August 31, 2025, reports 3-month net profit of $66.38 million. AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited unaudited financial results for the 12 months ending August 31, 2025, reports year-end net profit of $95.98 million. The Bank of Jamaica intervened in the foreign exchange market on Thursday and Friday of last week. On October 16, it drew down $30 million US from the net international reserves and did so again on August 17 with a further $30 million US dollars. This is the 23rd intervention this year. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has cautioned that the BOJ must stop the frequent interventions, but according to ourtoday.com, the BOJ may see it as necessary to create stability and not fester panic with a runaway Jamaican dollar nearing the 200 to US $1 mark. For the trading period ending October 17, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. One-on-One Educational Services Limited with 10,030,650 units, representing 34.98% of total market sales. Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited with 3,690,592 units, representing 12.87% of market sales. AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited with 1,921,490 units, representing 6.7% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rate set by the Bank of Jamaica. On October 17, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $73 million purchased and US $70.39 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $1.13 per dollar, selling the US at $161.12 and buying the US at 159.99. The Canadian dollar netted forex traders $5.92 per transaction, with selling at $116.42 and buying at $110.50. The British pound yielded forex traders $8.30 in profits, with selling at $218.49 and buying at $210.19. For our credit report tip of the day, is real estate your dream? You can rebuild your credit and move straight toward funding 100% of your construction costs. But it begins with immediate, concrete actions. Start by pulling your credit reports from all bureaus and disputing any errors. Then automate payments and cut credit utilization below 30%. Also, clean, organized financials matter. Then gather collateral documentation and talk to a construction lender or broker about 100% financing programs. Take these steps this week, keep the momentum, and prove to lenders you're ready to be funded and focused. In this Funded and Focused feature, we know you've worked hard for years. You've built a career, raised a family, and carried responsibilities with strength. But deep down, you know there's more you can do with what you already have. You don't just want stability, you want strategy. You're ready to stop depending only on a paycheck and start building something that lasts. Well, most people don't understand the concept of imputed land equity, but it's one of the most overlooked wealth building tools for women planning a powerful retirement. So step 1, work with a realtor to find a piece of land below market value. Step 2, work with your banker to use the market value, not what you paid, as your equity when applying for development financing. So here's an example. If you buy a lot for $40,000, but the land is actually valued at $100,000, when you approach a lender, they will consider the full $100,000 as your cash equity contribution. That means they can finance 100% of your construction costs. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step toward your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, the unit heads of the regional security system met in St. Lucia on Monday to discuss key security priorities, from improving command and control systems to strengthening cooperation in the fight against organized crime. The meeting also focused on enhancing interoperability among member states, sharing expertise to dismantle illegal networks, and addressing the growing impact of climate-related risks on regional security. The details in this HTS News Force report.
Police Commissioner Vungad disclosed that the Royal St. Lucia Police Force is utilizing best practices, but their staggered implementation poses a challenge for law enforcement. He highlighted that St. Lucia is working on implementing a police management system designed to address geo-criminal gaps and transnational crime, though they are currently facing implementation challenges. GAD made this statement during the opening ceremony of the Regional Security System RSS Unit Heads meeting in St. Lucia.
But non-traditional methods to combat the inherent speed and confront that inherent speed and comfort that persons in conflict with the law operate with ease and impunity. However, this method reminds of a language isolate within the apparatus of the regional security system. This geo-criminal climate on the heels of Caribbean single market and economy, our growing dependence on tourism, and economic citizenship should be best managed in the context of best practices being extrapolated laterally throughout the RSS.
Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, who is also the chair of the RSS Council of Ministers, urged unit heads to refrain from allowing their individual political affiliations to affect their duties in protecting residents.
It should come as no surprise that more resources would be required to improve relevant training, especially in cybersecurity and in the fight against the growing sophistication of criminals. I say to the various unit heads that you must be prepared to jealously protect your operational independence from party politics and to avoid being influenced by individual political preferences. Remain committed to the collective security of member countries and the citizens generally of the country.
The RSS meeting also sought to promote a spirit of camaraderie and trust within the regional security architecture. Prime Minister Pierre emphasized that local governments must strengthen and harmonize efforts among member countries to ensure that they do not undermine the work of the RSS.
As small island development states within the CARICOM region with limited resources, it would be in the interest of CARICOM if more member states join the RSS. Ghana was the last CARICOM member to join after signing the Instrument of Accession in September 2022. I call on the CARICOM countries to consider acceding to the RSS treaty and to do the same if we are to strengthen regional integration and cooperation in the fight against organized crime, money laundering, and asset recovery. We cannot take for granted that the CARICOM region must remain a zone of peace.
Officials argue that security is not solely the responsibility of one country or agency. They believe that unity and purpose, along with sharing intelligence, conducting joint training, and coordinating operational efforts, will help law enforcement build resilience and effectively adapt to and respond to threats from illicit networks, emerging technologies, and climate hazards. Gina Filippi, HDS News Force.
In Antigua and Barbuda, the University of the West Indies Five Islands campus is hosting crucial discussions on an initiative to turn sargassum seaweed into an economic opportunity. They are aiming to convert the smelly seaweed, which blights beaches, into sustainable bioethanol fuel. Samantha Simon reports.
Today's issue at hand, sargassum seaweed, and how it can be converted into biofuel, benefiting our island and region on a whole. The Center of Excellence for Oceanography and the Blue Economy hosted a workshop at the University of the West Indies Five Island campus, bringing together scientists, government officials, and stakeholders to discuss commercial opportunities for the invasive algae.
This sargassum is relatively new. It's a nuisance. But can we transform this nuisance into something useful? Can we derive some economic good from sargassum seaweed? We might say that we know in the region there are a lot of movements now around oil and gas. Can this be our oil and gas in the northeastern Caribbean?
The project is being funded by the United Kingdom Foreign Commonwealth Development Office. It examines converting sargassum biomass into bioethanol through a fermentation process. Beyond bioethanol, researchers say the residual biomass could be processed into fertilizers with potential applications in cosmetics and pharmaceuticals due to the compounds with anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. The Department of the Blue Economy says the initiative aligns with efforts to manage sargassum sustainably while creating economic opportunities.
The issue of sargassum influx is one that touches every corner of our region, from our fisheries to our coastal livelihoods, to tourism, marine health, and even community well-being. But as with many challenges within the blue economy, it also presents new opportunities for innovation, collaboration, and sustainable growth.
The research team expects to complete economic feasibility analysis by next month, determining whether large-scale bioethanol production from sargassum is commercially viable for Antigua and Barbuda and the wider Caribbean. Samantha Simon, ABS News.
President Ifran Ali on Friday reaffirmed Guyana's commitment to regional peace and security, rejecting suggestions that Caribbean nations should fear United States involvement in joint anti-drug operations. Ali told reporters his government would do, quote, everything necessary, end quote, to protect Guyana's people and borders, while working with allies to combat drug trafficking and transnational crime.
But my priority as Commander-in-Chief is to ensure the safety of this country, the people of this country, and our territorial integrity. We will do everything necessary to contribute to the region remaining a zone of peace, and we will do everything in support of combating transnational crime and illicit drugs. We have a responsibility to the citizens of this region and the people globally to support and to work with our allies as we have been doing for decades, be it Brazil, Colombia, the US, Suriname, the entire region. We have been collaborating for decades. We've been supporting each other for decades in the fight against drugs and illicit activities. Whatever we pursue and whatever partnership, in the form of our partnership, once it does not compromise the security of the operation or personnel, of course the public will be aware. If anyone says the Caribbean should be afraid, they should be calling for questioning. It means that person have information that will suggest that there is some harm that will come to the Caribbean from some force.
In sports, we look to football. Jamaica has joined the United States, Mexico, and Costa Rica in a joint bid to host the 2031 FIFA Women's World Cup. The countries aim to stage the most impactful tournament in history, focused on inspiring future generations and promoting women's empowerment through sport. The official announcement was made in New York City, marking a major milestone in the Federation's campaign to bring the global event to North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. If successful, it would be Jamaica's first time participating as a host nation for a world football tournament. And that's it for the news on PBCJ. Pleasant viewing.